So give me, Tom Pelissero, the name of a team that doesn't have, one would think, a seat at the game of musical chairs or the quarterback carousel that appears set that might change minds. Give me the name of a team that, do you think would sit on the quarterback carousel that we're not talking about right now? You got one?
I would not overlook Baltimore. I don't know how much you've talked about that, but the reality is there is a scenario here where they trade Lamar Jackson for a significant number of draft picks. They've tried for over a year to get a deal done. I know everybody just says pay Lamar. They're trying. They're just doing it under the traditional structure. That's not a fully guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson got with, from a football perspective, unprecedented leverage. Lamar is still 2 years away from getting to the open market because they could tag him twice at relatively reasonable numbers, less than what they've been offering him on a long-term deal. If this thing goes sideways, if they can't get something done, I fully anticipate they're going to tag Lamar Jackson. If they use the exclusive tag, they can shop him around and see what type of price they potentially can get. Or they could use the non-exclusive tag, let somebody else negotiate with them, and then depending what that offer is, they could match it, basically let somebody else do their dirty work for them and get the long-term contract done, or let him go for 2 first-rounders. I think that's a real scenario that you have to evaluate as we move forward here. I think that until Seattle gets something done with Geno Smith, you can't rule out the possibility that they potentially are going to end up back in the quarterback market. We mentioned some of the others. Washington has said they're committed to Sam Howell. Is the right situation out there that they could be in the market for a quarterback? I would certainly expect. I don't think that you roll and just say, it's Sam Howell or bust for the Commanders. They're going to have another quarterback regardless. I don't know how much appetite the Colts have to go back into that veteran quarterback market once again. But their quarterback situation's unsettled. Obviously, we talked about the Raiders and the Jets. What do the 49ers do? Brock Purdy's got surgery tomorrow. We'll know more about his prognosis and his readiness for the start of the season after that. Carolina's in that mix. Arizona's got to do something because we simply don't know when Kyler Murray is going to get back on the field. I don't anticipate that's going to be making some big trade, but they may spend some money at the position just so they can compete in the short term. And then you got Tennessee that has Ryan Tannehill under contract. He's due, I think, $27 million, no guarantees. So they've got decisions that they're going to have to make. Miami has said that they're confident in Tua Tagovailoa's health. They're going to need another quarterback, though, because Teddy Bridgewater was on a 1-year deal. We can go on and on. I mean, there's so many of these teams. We haven't even mentioned the Giants, who
I was going to ask you that. What about the Giants? Is it true? $45 million a year ask for Daniel Jones? What about is it really?
I have not heard specifically the $45 million number. I do anticipate that if a Daniel Jones deal gets done, it begins with a 4.
Wow.
If you look at all the deals that have gotten done with quarterbacks over the past couple of years here, they're all 40-plus million. Kirk Cousins got $40 million last year on a 1-year, $40 million extension. You've got Stafford was right at the $40 million mark. Obviously, Kyler was above that. Mahomes was above that. The Rodgers deal, is deflated with 2 dummy years on the back end, but really it's a $50 million per year deal. All these deals that are getting done are at that number, and you could say, well, Daniel Jones hasn't accomplished what those guys had, or doesn't have the playoff wins and things like that. Though he already picked up one in his young career here, but he's a young quarterback. His worst case scenario right now would seem to be he gets tagged for $30+ million this year. Then if a deal doesn't get done again, potentially gets tagged for 120% of that next year. He's got a lot of reasons, if he's willing to bet on himself, to say that I want to have a contract that's in line with those other quarterbacks. And this is at a time, Rich, that the salary cap is going to be a record number. What is it, 224.8, I think, next season. The biggest jump, non-COVID related, in NFL history in terms of the cap. We could, by the end of some of these long-term deals that are getting done, we could have a $300 million per club cap. You're talking about 5, 6, 7 years out. I mean, the gambling revenue, the TV revenue, the Sunday ticket deal, that's all going to continue to cause the salary cap to rise here. And so, the smart agents, I think in a lot of cases, are being patient with some of these guys, especially if you've got the leverage right now, which Daniel Jones does, which is, hey, if you don't get this done, well, then you're going to have to tag me. Now you're forced to either get something done with Saquon or run the risk of losing him. again, it's one of the situations, Rich, where all these different things are kind of interconnected here. And really the Giants are the team this year that you have to look at when you got two pretty clear franchise tag candidates. There's going to be some urgency on the club end to get something done by March 7th.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.